Welcome everyone to the Mentor Movement Podcast, the podcast that explores things like mentorship, inclusion, and women empowerment. I'm your host, Kylie Montigney, founder of Empower Girls. In today's episode, we're diving into going through pediatric cancer and upcoming Miss Alabama competition. Joining us on this episode is Hannah Adams, Miss Mobile Bay, host of the Heart of Whole podcast. Of course, with the last episode I mentioned, I literally interviewed her on my other podcast. It's literally also been a hot minute since we last chatted. I've been literally keeping up with all of her episodes on her podcast. It's really been awesome. But Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been so excited to catch up with you, share a bunch of life updates, and love getting to follow along everything that you're doing.
Same here as well. So, if people want to learn more about you, kind of tell us kind of more about you and your work.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Hannah. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, but moved around a lot growing up, lived in Florida and Texas as well, but I've been in Birmingham for over 5 years with my family. I'm a rising senior studying political science and public relations and a first-year MBA candidate from the University of Alabama. So roll tide. I am an avid dancer. I've been dancing since I was 2. That's what my talent is for Miss Alabama. Specifically on point. So I love that art form and just getting to share my heart with people through dance. I'm the oldest of 4 kids, so my house is super busy. My family loves to go wakeboarding together. We go on different hikes and safari trips together. Recently, we got back from Africa, which was super fun. And getting to prepare for Miss Alabama right now is a really exciting part of my summer.
Yeah, of course, it's in 2 weeks. Well, this week, once this episode is out, which is very exciting. Like, how are you feeling about it?
I just feel so excited and prepared for it. It's one of those things that I've been getting ready for all year and really throughout,
Mhm.
I think, so many different aspects of my life. But really, this past year, I've been focusing on doing the job of Miss Alabama as a local title holder. So then I'm ready to step into that role if I get honored with it. And so I am so pumped to get to spend the week with all the girls and volunteers. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It definitely is. Currently, Miss Pennsylvania is going on right now, and a bunch of other competitions is going on, which I'm so excited. I know me and you are keeping up with all the competitions, which is very exciting. Honestly, one of the best times of the year is keeping up with the competitions. But with dance, that's something that I used to do growing up as dance. That's something I absolutely love doing. Like, what made you choose to like do dance? Like, especially for Miss Alabama, like as your talents and different other things.
So I started dance when I was 2 years old. I think like probably most little girls who grow up dancing in the basic tap classes where you think you're smashing the bug or princess ballet classes, but fell in love with it. And my dad is a really big athlete. He played football for the Naval Academy. And so his dream was for me to be this like sporty
Mm.
athlete girl that did volleyball and soccer and basketball. And trust me, I tried all of those, but we always came back to my love for dance and performing. And so I continued all of my training and still have continued that in college. But when starting to compete in the Miss America program, knowing that I was going to dance was kind of a no-brainer. I feel like it was one of the easier things to figure out. The hardest part is figuring out what song and what style you want to do. But
Mm.
because I've been a classically trained ballet dancer since the young age of 2, I decided to stick with what my passion was, what I'm best at, and that's ballet on point. And so that's what I've done since I started competing 6 years ago.
I love that you brought up that your dad wanted you to do sports. Like my father was kind of the same way. He grew up playing baseball and some other things. And I'm a twin, so it was between me and him. And he's more of the sporty one. I was the one that kind of loved to watch rather than play. Of course, I played sports growing up, baseball, basketball, and swimming, but I just like this is not my thing. I rather sit back and watch. I'm always more of a dance type of person rather than sports person per se. I rather sit back and watch it, just do it for fun rather than. But I know you just went on a safari trip. You did an episode on your podcast recently, about that trip with your brothers. Like, what did you guys do there? What was it like there?
It was the best time. It had been on my bucket list for so long to
Mm.
go on an African safari, and my great grandparents were actually missionaries in over in Kenya, in Kendu Bay. They did medical work over there. So it had been something that my family and I had talked about for such a long time. And then we finally decided, okay, this year is the time that we should go to Kenya. And so we went to 3 different camps, Old Pajeta, Meru, and the Mara. And we were out there for 10 days, slept in tents, took bucket showers, we're out on safari all day, getting to see animals and learn about the culture there. So it was a really fun experience and very eye-opening to get to learn more about that part of the world, and special to get to experience it with my family too. I'm really close with them, but I think traveling the world together definitely makes you grow even closer.
It really does. I seen the pictures on the social media. It really seems so fun. I always wanted to go on a safari. When I saw the pictures, it made me want to go even more. It really seems so fun. But to go back to pediatric cancer, so you grew up with pediatric cancer. That is something that we kind of drove into on my other podcast. But what was kind of like your journey like with pediatric cancer growing up?
Yeah, so I was 5.5 years old when I was diagnosed with stage 3 nephroblastoma, which meant that a softball-sized tumor was enveloping my left kidney. And I was actually one of 9 children in the world diagnosed with that specific form in 2009 because it had the genetic disposition. So it was really rare and really aggressive. And I remember, I don't know, just taking everyone back to that moment when I was first diagnosed. I just knew that cancer was a really bad disease, a
Hmm.
really bad sickness that I could possibly not end up alive at the end. That's how.
Yeah.
And at first, I thought that it was something that only, grandparents get because normally that's the case. And so I didn't even realize that kids could get at that point. But my parents explained to me, they're like, you're going to have to go to the doctors a lot. We're going to spend time in the hospital. You're going to lose all your hair. You're going to have tubes sticking out of you. And so it's a big whirlwind for me at such a young age to kind of be faced with all these big adult decisions. And then on top of that, just trying to grow up and live a normal life. And so I had treatment for 9 months, chemo, radiation surgery, and was finally declared cancer free over 14 years ago. And so from that experience, I remember promising myself that if I got this second chance of life, then I would want to help other kids who were diagnosed.
Mm.
I would want to encourage them and give them hope in some way. And so that's what I've been doing with my different nonprofit work, advocacy, community awareness, family support, is trying to give them that hope.
That's really awesome. I love that you like share it and use your platform for it because not a lot of people are mostly afraid to share that, you know. Because I honestly felt the same way. I honestly didn't think pediatric cancer or any type of cancer would end up in young kids. It's mostly kind of our grandparents. But I personally didn't have it, and hopefully, no one should have to go through that. I had grandparents who had and passed away from cancer, and it's honestly any parent's nightmare to have to see a loved one go through that, especially as a child. No one has to go through that. And to see you really going through that, really spreading awareness on it is really awesome to see.
Thank you. No, it can be one of those things that's really difficult to talk about. And I was talking with a friend even today, and they said, Hannah, have you even fully ever processed all the things that you faced as a young child? Do you still fear that it might come back? Do you have survivor's guilt where it's questioning, why was I the one that survived and my friends in the cancer ward didn't? And feel
Mm.
almost guilty about that. And so I always find that getting to talk with other people who have gone through a similar circumstance, that's really encouraging. It makes you open up even more to people. And so that's what I try to have those people in my life that I can do that with, but I also try to be that person for others so they know that they're supported and loved.
Yeah, it makes you feel honestly so much better when you have people in your life that went through the same thing. It's honestly very rewarding because it makes you open up so much and it makes you feel like there are people like you in this world, which makes things so much better for you to feel like you're not alone in that situation, even though they might have not gone through the same thing. But it really makes you feel so much better and more confident in yourself that they maybe had cancer, but maybe it's a different type of cancer. Because you really get to connect on how much you guys have been through during that point, and because no one should have to go through that as a child. or any person in general, and to really have those people in your life surround you with support and to talk with you about those things, even if you're comfortable talking about it or not, it makes you really open up so much about it.
It's huge. It's so important to have that.
It really is. But how, of course, you are a big advocate with using your platform for pediatric cancer, but how are you using your journey with pediatric cancer as your mission for Miss Alabama?
The role of Miss Alabama is a really special one. And even being a local title holder and preparing for Miss Alabama, it's a really special position because I always say that you're a human connector, that you get to
Mm,
relate to people in all these different communities. And so the message of going through something hard, I think resonates with everybody. And so for me specifically within the childhood cancer community, I get to represent every single person who has been diagnosed with cancer in the state of Alabama on the Miss Alabama stage. And I don't take that responsibility lightly because I get to share with people their strength, their bravery, their courage, that even on the hard days, we're going to choose to continue to fight.
mm,
And that is a very, very special and unique experience. And getting to tell other people that if I can end up on the Miss Alabama stage, if I can pursue my wildest dreams, then they can too.
yeah, it really is so impactful. Basically, of course, with Miss Alabama or Miss America, one the biggest or within the biggest thing is what you advocate for, whether it's pediatric cancer, MS. I know one of my friends is doing advocating for MS and for the Miss Pennsylvania competition, mental health, or whatever it may be. Whenever they see someone advocating for something that is close to their heart, they really push to really talk about it on social media or to their family or friends. And it's really huge. And that's why Miss America is so big the way it is today, is how each lady in different states has their own mission statement close to their heart. With pediatric cancer, with their story, like it's really huge to see each person share their story for something close to their heart like pediatric cancer. It's really huge to see like what everyone went through to be Miss Pennsylvania, Miss Alabama, because everyone has their own special talent, and you never knew what they went through growing up that led them to this opportunity, especially with you having pediatric cancer and with chances being very slim, you never really expected that moment.
Exactly. And that's really the heart behind the Miss America organization, is getting these young women into communicating with different people about causes that they care about and
Mhm.
be an advocate for them. And I mean, when you step into a room wearing a crown and sash, instantly you're given a megaphone for you to use your voice and be a voice for other people who might not have that same opportunity.
Yeah, it's really so powerful. But I know this is a very trick question, but if you didn't advocate for pediatric cancer for Miss America, what would you advocate for?
International women's rights. This is something that I'm
Ooh.
really passionate about. Is I took an authoritarianism class a couple years ago in college and learned about in these authoritarian regimes that women couldn't even step outside of their homes in some circumstances. And then hearing that they don't have access to proper health care, education, all these different things that I think we take for granted in the United States. And we still have a long way to go with women's
Yeah.
rights even here. But then going to Kenya a month ago, it was reaffirmed that how women are viewed in that society, that something needs to change. And so wanting to work with the United Nations women would be something that would be one of my dream jobs, getting to advocate for those women internationally.
A woman, the UN is honestly one of my dream jobs as well. Women's rights or anything involving that is something that I know I'm very passionate about, and it's something that needs to be talked about and worked on. I know there's been a lot of work done over these last couple of years, but I know with things going on in Afghanistan, with women getting a right to education is very huge. Um, but women's rights is honestly a big matter that is still going on to this day. Maybe not necessarily as much in the United States, but also in big countries like Afghanistan and things going on around the world right now. It's honestly very huge. But with things going on with the UN, they are really making such huge impact with the work they're doing as well. And honestly, women's rights and the work they're doing, they're really combining really well together.
100%. And so I think it's through organizations like that and collaboration amongst different countries and organizations that they have present there, that's how we're going to see a really big shift. And even thinking back to when women got the right to vote in the
Mm,
1920s in the United States, that took so much fighting, that took so much
mm.
advocacy. And so things don't change without that.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see a shift internationally with women stepping into these leadership roles, which is huge. Um, and so I think that we're heading in the right direction, and I'm really
Yeah,
excited
and
about it.
especially after like almost 100 year or over 100 years after US became a country in 1776 and a woman got a right to vote in the 1920s is even more crazy to me that, they didn't have the right to vote much earlier when US became a country. It's really crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's changed so much people's perspectives, and still work to be done. I see it, but even through organizations like the Miss America program, bridging the gap for women to go to college, that has made the biggest difference
It
in
really has.
getting higher education, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, and plus they give away some scholarship money, so that is honestly a very help for those that maybe are in debt or going to freshman in college or something. It's really very useful for Miss America. If you're looking for college money or something or in debt, it's also very huge that they really impacts people that are in need of scholarship money.
Yeah, 100%. So if you need some money, girls, go out and compete in the Miss America program. 13,
There's
20,
next year, guys. There's still time to sign up.
you,
So.
Kylie, I'm talking to you too.
There's a possibility, Hannah. There's always a possibility. Honestly, I've been thinking about it. So, who knows about next year?
Do
If
it.
not, then maybe Miss Pennsylvania, because I think Miss Pennsylvania's teen is lower than what I am right now. So there's always Miss Pennsylvania. So who knows what's going to go there. Yeah, but how has, the process been going to prepare for Miss Alabama in 2 weeks?
It is all encompassing because what I love about the Miss America program is that every area of competition represents a different part about becoming the best version of yourself. So I think about the interview portion. Even this is super helpful for me, just getting to talk about my different passions, getting to connect with you, and then
Mhm.
reading up on current events. That's super huge when it comes to interview prep because you never know what they're going to ask. And same
Yeah.
with the on-stage question. For fitness, I've been in the gym almost every day, working out, being a dancer. Haven't always had the most upper body strength, so that has been my focus primarily this year is increasing that. And then my talent, I practice every day. Being a point dancer, I make sure that I'm in class. I make sure that people watch my talent to fix certain things. And then an evening gown is all about the confidence that you exude and feeling comfortable walking in 4-inch heels. And I think at the end of the day, for preparation, you really have to know yourself and know why you want to be there, why you want the job. And then if you put in the work, you can feel so much peace about the outcome because
Mhm.
I know that I've done everything that I can. And so whether I win or lose, it's going to be a win-win situation because I still get to walk away as Hannah, and that's a really beautiful thing.
It really is. Even if you win or lose, it's always very rewarding to make sure that you're healthy, of course, is the main thing, but also getting that experience is also very huge because not everyone experiences going to Miss Alabama or to a bigger competition like that is also very rewarding if you win or lose or not.
Yeah, just being grateful to be there. I mean, there's so many young women that compete to win the local title to go to Miss Alabama that don't end up winning it. And so I think of all those women
Mhm.
who competed for Miss Mobile Bay that I'm getting to represent on the Miss Alabama stage. And then whoever wins Miss Alabama, they're representing all 39 of us at
Mm.
Miss America and the legacy of Miss Alabama, the formers, but then all the women to come.
It's really such an amazing opportunity, whether you're representing Miss Alabama or even one of those counties in Alabama, like Miss Mobile Bay. It's an honor either way if you're serving Alabama, even though you're not maybe the main title.
Exactly.
But too, in terms of mentors, I know mentors is very huge in Miss America, but do you have a mentor helping you prepare for this competition?
Yeah, I have a whole community of people who are very supportive of my journey and who have poured in different things into me. My director, Mr. Larry, is the best. Shout out to Mr. Larry if he's listening. He has been a huge help in just helping me hone my interview skills,
Mhm.
decide my plans through my years, Miss Mobile Bay, and ideas for the Miss Alabama organization. So he's been a huge mentor to me. I have a few different former Miss Alabamas and former Miss Americas who have given me advice because they know exactly what it's like to compete when you step out on the stage. You feel a little bit nervous. And they also got to serve in the role as a state and national title holder. So, kind of
Mhm.
understanding what the expectations are and how to best prepare myself for that. And then I have a couple of lovely dance teachers who have helped me in my technique and performance qualities. And so, things like that. But my biggest cheerleaders are definitely my family. I do a lot of interview prep with them. After this, I'm going to dance with my little sister because she will tell me, hey, Hannah, you need to fix your foot this way or feel this emotion a little bit more in your dance and things like that. And so I'm thankful to have all these people in my life who encourage me on this journey because you cannot do it alone. It takes a village.
It really does. And I love that your sister would not be afraid to call you out if you did a mistake, though. That is so important. That's something that my sister would do as well if I did something like that. But having a good support system like your family is so important. For a big competition like this, it's really huge to have that support and have people encourage you throughout this journey is also very important. But I know that you interviewed a lot of Miss America people and also Miss Alabama people, from the former ones to maybe upcoming people. You interviewed a bunch. But in terms of mentorship, this is the last question I have for you. This is the question that I generally ask everyone on each episode is, what does mentorship mean to you?
Investment. I think that having mentors in your life that will invest in you, regardless of what the outcome might be, regardless of what goal you're working towards, you know that they're going to love you regardless and support you regardless. And so, all the mentors that I have in my life, they've put their time, they put their effort into just loving on me and giving me advice. And I know that I can always text them, I can always call them no matter what hour of the night, that they're going to support me through that. And then I think once you're mentored by people, they want you to pay it back to others. And so
Yeah.
now, as I've been mentored, I'm going to go mentor other people. I have two amazing rising stars, Maggie and Lyric. They're the cutest things. So the Rising Star is like the mentorship program for little girls in the Miss America program. I think it's ages like 7 through 12. And so I get to take them along to appearances. I get to show them what it's like to prepare for Miss Alabama, what it takes to do the job of Miss Mobile Bay, so then they can one day compete in the Miss America's teen program and the Miss program. And so it's things like that, starting mentorship at a young age helps you so much in life. So I think that everybody needs a mentor out there. It has definitely helped me professionally, personally, in pageant land, just every area of my life.
Yeah, mentorship is so key for everything. I never really had a mentor until I was probably like a junior in high school. I'm going to my senior year now. So, it's honestly mentorship is very important. And to really you having to mentor these young girls at such a young age is something that I wish I had when I was very young. And to really teach them at such a young age about Miss America is something huge, saying that they had a mentor, and to say that it was you is like at such a young age is very important. Miss Miles, well, earlier the better. Everything about mentorship is very meaningful to a lot of people and can impact you personally, physically, perfect, and well, whatever it is, it can impact you so much. But I really thank you so much, Hannah, for joining us today. I really wish you the best of luck at Miss Alabama. I'm sure you're going to do amazing. I'll make sure to be staying tuned with everything going on. I hope really everyone enjoyed this episode. I'll make sure to put Hannah's social media links in our podcast below for you to check her out. Or if you have any questions, please make sure to like, subscribe, review, and thank you so much, Hannah, for joining us. It was great catching up with you again.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you and the light that you are to so many people. So I'm very honored to be on your show today.
Thank you. I'm same here. I'm so proud of you for everything you accomplished. If you need help with anything, I'm here and I can't wait to stay tuned with this competition. And I'm so honored to know you.
Oh, thank you.